I must say, sharpen the axle, like improve the process. When we go deeply in the process, find the not try to find the mistake, just try to find the cause from the problems. When you go deeply in the process and analyzing, using the best tools in the market, the best vehicles, we've improved.
Welcome to Chain Reaction, the video podcast for the supply chain and logistics industry. In this podcast, we speak to industry leaders who share their ideas, thoughts, and anecdotes from within the logistics world.
Welcome to another episode of Chain Reaction podcast. Today, my guest is Rafael Norberto from Delivery Mates, and we're going to be talking about the last mile and the hyperlocal logistics. Welcome, Rafael.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me.
The hyperlocal logistics is actually quite an interesting term. So can you elaborate on what do you mean by that, and what do you put into that word?
Yes, the hyperlocal strategy is a very interesting point that we can manage it in a just a we can use we are do warehousing in a small places, like we can use just like 600 square meters to a
Okay.
thousand, and we can deal with a lot of clients, and using the space, basically the truck, the lorry comes in or vans comes in, and we can spread quickly the parcels to make the route for the drivers in a range of 3 to 5 miles around, and we can provide the deliveries within an hour. Actually, we try to do half an hour window,
Okay.
but we can guarantee 1 hour window.
Oh, that's interesting. So you the couple of things for me then. So the hyperlocal, I mean, obviously it's an award. It's very localized service that is very effective in the highly populated and densely populated areas and the urban areas.
Yeah.
Uh, is that majority of your operations kind of in the big urban places like, I don't know, London, Birmingham, Liverpool? Where do you guys operate?
Yeah, overall, we are in Edinburgh, and we just opening in Southampton, and we
Okay.
got all around the UK basically, but we are mainly in London.
Mainly in London. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and the other point that you mentioned, which is actually quite interesting, because you are very local, um, what is the typical, because you said there's a half an hour lead time. Is that the delivery time, or is that the lead time from order, potentially, from order to delivery?
No, it's delivery time from order to delivery. Depends which customer we are dealing with. Sometimes can be like um, increase just 5 minutes from the customer to our
Okay.
client, the best job, and the job from the final customer. That some customer can increase just 5 minutes, like food deliveries, but some
Hmm.
ones take like an hour. Sometimes some ones around 30 minutes to receive the request and to deliver to the customer.
Okay. What are the main kind of the client categories? Because you mentioned food. What else? Groceries,
Yeah,
perhaps?
groceries, multi parcel deliveries, car parts, wherever fits in a motorcycle, we can do during this time,
Okay.
basically. But even bigger parcels.
Okay.
But we can manage catering, like whole bunch of boxes.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's obviously the trick is then to make sure that the all those parcels kind of in bulk they come into that local depot where you then put it on motorcycles or the bikes and get it delivered. So how does the data and how does the information flow works, and how does it impact the service?
Yeah, it's basically on daily basis. We do receive prospection from the day before, but every day is a new challenge. Some days they can promise you like 200, but can arrive 500. So our part to make the things happen. And a part of that, we are always over the loop, trying to bring the best service for everyone. And basically, and the main thing is the delays which can happen. Sometimes the middle mile and the first mile can take longer than we expected.
Okay.
But apart of that, we try to do as much as we can, and it's interesting. But we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Especially if you like the lorries. Sometimes they get like their window to arrive during between 6 a.m. Sometimes from 5 a.m. till 9. So
Okay.
it's a quite tricky. It's like it's, who does works in that industry knows like 4 hours is like a nightmare.
Okay.
So, but usually they arrive on time, and we can the at our party we take like 1 hour to 45 minutes to 1 hour to make the routes properly, sort all the sortation, planning the routes using our TMS system. And as soon
Okay.
as everything is uploaded on our TMS on Sabrina, so as part of that, the drive is fully ready to go. After he received his route on the app, he basically
Okay.
just needs to prepare and inspect the vehicle and start to the route.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. It's quite clear of what you guys do when everything goes well. Uh, what are the what what happens when something goes wrong? What are the
Mhm.
problems and what are the typical problems that you guys face, and how do you overcome and solve them?
Yeah, they usually happens when the middle mile fails or something like that, and we straight away advise that the final customer. We email them and try to communicate and resend the new ETAs that they should be
Right.
receiving. For example, if they start the driver should start at 8 and he starts for some reason at 9, we just upload every single customer to about this delay and try to be over the
Okay.
in front of the issue.
So it sounds like quite frequently the problems are coming from the middle mile being late. What if the availability, yeah, you can't find the parcel, for example, for a particular address. So is that the issue, or and how often does that happen?
Yeah, sometimes due to the poor information from the customer, like we all know, some consuls here they just have the house name, and they are some for some reason they was unable to fulfill. But
Right.
we got the strategy that we always try to get some contact number to try to sort it out, and we can pass this information for the driver. But in that case, if the driver does not find, we he sent this that information, but he
Okay.
probably didn't recognize that the address was fully completed. And when he faces the issue, he contacted us in the
Okay.
control room, and we try to sort it out. We just ask him to keep for a moment. We are trying to sort it out. If it does not is not possible, he does return you, and unfortunately, it's going to be for the next day
Right. Okay.
when it's possible.
Well, yeah, you mentioned returns, and earlier you mentioned kind of the micro hub. So how does the micro hub, and where do you get them? Do you have your own, or do you use them on demand from somebody, you subletting them? And what kind of role the micro hubs are playing in your business model?
Yeah, we do rent some place, and we have partnerships with some consuls, and we can most of them we do the rent and partnership with another partners.
You are listening to Chain Reaction. This podcast is brought to you by Phlox, the leading marketplace for the supply chain and logistics industry. Visit phlox.is to find out how you find the perfect supplier or make your services available to prospective buyers. Thanks for tuning in. Now back to the show.
But are those the micro hubs? Are they static? As in, you have a longer term agreement. You can have it's a secure space. Potentially, you can store some products there overnight, and you can keep some returns, for example, for the return
Yeah,
leg.
exactly.
Okay.
We have a long term. Some yeah.
Okay, it's interesting because I've seen in the US some companies are exploring the business model where they have kind of cross docking is no longer a facility. It's like almost a parking lot.
Yeah.
A lorry comes in, gets spread out onto bikes, and everybody goes home. Well, everybody goes to work, and the parking lot gets empty. So, is that something like that you guys consider
We
or you're
do, we
doing?
do, we do that. We have like pinpoints in the strategically located in central London or some depends which contract which contract. Some car parts does
Okay,
that. So the second run, the driving meets several drivers in a pinpoint somewhere, which we do call local hubs.
okay.
So, and this can change some days, but we try to use like to not disturb the people, no, not parking in front of our residence,
Of
commercial
course.
places, because we know how small London is. So we try to find a secret place that we can do these local hubs.
Well, there are some like parking spaces, for example, especially if you're doing that like early in the morning, you can get a parking space, for example, almost rented on an hourly basis from like supermarkets, and you can do that on a parking lot of a Tesco, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Uh,
It's
cup,
a
cup.
strategy, but we try to use as far as we can, and the most peaceful because if you can bring 10 vans or 10 EVs, 10 because can be such a mess during blocking roads, can cause some disturbance, but we try to
Okay.
keep it quiet as possible.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, how does the scalability work then? So, I presume that you guys are growing and you're picking up a lot of urban business. So, what are your kind of both the targets and the directions with which you're growing? You are mostly directly on the B2C space, or are you building some partnerships with online retail platforms, or maybe something? And then how the growth projection for the business is looking.
Yeah, it's a quite good question because we do have partnerships all around the world. So basically, we got some very good expectation about since these last 2 years. We are working for partners from US, from Europe. So we got a lot of room to grow the business, especially nowadays that they are matching with our principles that should become green, totally green by the end of the year.
Okay, it's well, interesting that interesting points. I've seen quite a lot of articles on the last mile delivery in particular, where many companies struggle with growth or with retaining margins because it's quite a competitive place. We have a lot of larger businesses that are merging. For example, Every has just been acquired by DHL e-commerce, or Yodel has merged with InPost. I know Getir was a Turkish firm that
Yeah.
they left the UK. So it's quite a challenging market space. I understand that there are growth opportunities that exist, but how do you find the competitive dynamics working for you?
I must say, sharpen the axle, like improve the process. When we go deeply in the process, find the not try to find the mistake, just try to find the cause from the problems. When you go deeply in the process and analyzing using the best tools in the market, the best vehicles with improving continuous training, and yeah, it's very some points is the like flowers. Flowers are are very critical. One of our most critical contracts because they are so delicate. So it's
Okay.
one day. There's cannot pass from one day.
No, exactly. Well, let's look into that. So let's say I'm a flower business and I'm looking for my last mile or local delivery partner. I have choices. I can go to anything from the likes of Uber to the some of the I think the likes of and the other businesses provide these kind of services. So how do you differentiate? How do you win the business? It's not only about price, I'm sure. So what is the how do you stand out from the competition?
Yeah. First of all, they dealing with flowers. The main goal they are looking for green companies. That's
Okay.
the first main point that I should say. And our hubs are strategically located to serve all the customers. So we pretty much say from the all the loads that we receive, we deliver like much more uh, very earlier than they expecting. So basically our window is like half day, so we basically complete in 3 to 4 hours, two three
Okay.
4 hours. Do the using the hubs when we got the whole is extra. We
Hmm.
got all the environment done. So we got the vehicles, the points, and our data is already settled. The driver we just received, he knows which stop, and the customer knows exactly what time they are gonna receiving.
Hmm. You mentioned the green and sustainability drivers and requirements. There is also congestion. There's also various kind of social pressures that the councils are placing on
Mhm.
deliveries and freight movements in their communities. So where do you see this market going and these pressures or these requirements are going to are they helping or are they hindering your operations?
Yeah, they are bring some actually they are bring some more challenge for us because at least they are still investing more cycle lanes. The cycle
Okay.
lanes they still helping us, and as much green as you go, you more routes you can take. But we all know that some routes in central London they you cannot ride any kind of vehicle. Sometimes you had to walk to some place, but that's the point. Find the best hubs is then our challenging at the moment. But of course, as much harder to the council's goals to move the parcels around the UK, around London
Mm,
especially,
yeah.
and the customer you're gonna see the value, and we're gonna be more more help more happy actually because sometimes they don't do not expect to receive the delivery. So we when you of course you probably already had like missed deliveries, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So especially when you're London, well, I need my printer is out, something like that, and when you really need it, you can count in the right provider.
Okay, perfect. And probably the last question, given that we are in a fairly, pretty much everyone agrees that it's a fairly difficult kind of economic environment. What do you think the rest of the 2025 is going to look like for you guys?
Yeah. So far we are in a good increasing, and we are just opening to another. As I mentioned, we just opening another hub in Southampton, and
Okay.
yeah, especially now because the holiday season is coming again. But I do hope that till especially all the deliveries increases on the Christmas. So the Christmas, it's a it's a quite different case of the year. So, but we're
Yeah.
expecting, as the last year we did increase 36% just on the green vehicles
Okay.
volume. So 2.9 millions was the number from the last year. So I pretty much that's gonna reach like 4 million.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's impressive. I thought it would be some clients could be interested in like I'm having a barbecue, I have more guests, and I forgot to buy the beer, or I don't think I have enough beer, so can I
Mhm.
get more today? So that's kind of this is the kind of
Yeah.
fulfillment that you guys can help and provide.
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
very interesting. Okay. Well, thank you a lot, Rafael. Thank you. It was very interesting talking to you, and it's
All right.
definitely definitely is an area of business, as an area of logistics
Mhm.
that is impacting our daily lives very much so. So thanks again for coming on the podcast, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. See you. See you in the
Okay.
next one. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning into Chain Reaction. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you have a story or opinions to share from your sector, we'd love to hear from you. Simply reach out to Chain Reaction or visit flocks.is for more information. See you next time.